and welcome to session 6 of the ICC Sustainability Conclave 2021. This session, we are going to look at the global scenario on practices of sustainability throughout the world. The chair of the session is Mr. Marco Mensing, who is Director General of the European Chemical Industry Council, CEFIC. So he's going to chair the session and he's going to introduce the other panelists. Mr. Marco Mensing is Director General of CEFIC, the European Chemical Industry, since May 2016. With members adding over 550 billion euro to the EU economy annually, CEFIC is the largest industry sector representation of its kind in Brussels. As part of this role, Mr. Mensing shapes the strategy and direction of the European chemical industry, uniting more than 22 national federations and associate federations and 650 members and affiliates from all over Europe. A Dutch national, he is a seasoned public affairs professional who has lived and worked in Brussels since 2006. He has an extensive network of contacts within European institutions and the wider Brussels sphere, and is active in several European Commission high-level groups. Before joining CEFIC, Mr. Mensing was Director General of the Confederation of European Paper Industries, CEPI, representing the sector both at European and global level. Starting his career at Ernst & Young Management Consulting, he worked for 6 years in environmental management until 2 years in the Association, also representing the Dutch industry in Brussels. Marco Mensing holds a Master of Science degree in Forestry and Business Management from the Agricultural University of Wageningen in the Netherlands. Born in 1968, he is married and has 3 children. Now, all the speakers, other than Mr. Marco, they kindly put themselves on mute so that we can hear him. And now the mic and floor is yours, Mr. Mensing, to conduct the session. Up to you now.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much for that kind introduction. I should compliment you being one of the few foreigners who can say Wageningen the way you do, which you have qualified as a Dutch national right away. So I appreciate your efforts in that area. I'm indeed leading the CEFIC organization in Brussels. And as of January, again, also the ICCA Secretariat, the International Council, which we do together with the colleagues in India, in China, in the US with Christian and Japan. The coming 2 years, again, CEFIC will do its best to serve you all around the globe, also with the help of our incoming president, which is Martin Brudermüller, the CEO of BASF. If you look at my day job, indeed, it's my role to understand and explain what Brussels politicians want from our industry in Europe, and vice versa, explain what the industry needs to the politicians. I'm not a chemical scientist. You can say I'm a lobby scientist in the Brussels arena, but very much focused also due to the perspective of the European Commission on environment. And it's my pleasure first to explain you shortly the European Green Deal and what it will mean for you. And then secondly, lead the session with the distinguished speakers. Each one of them will spend about 15 minutes and then we'll do a Q&A. So maybe a few words on the developments in Europe on a very international day, not only us being together, but a few hours from now, the inauguration of the new US president and the new climate and energy agenda building also there. I think in that sense, Europe will be a bit less lonely around the planet, maybe. That's sometimes the feeling we have as an industry. But where is the Green Deal? I think the important shift that is now being made in Europe is that not only it will look at how sustainable you produce, Do you have the right equipment? Do you have the right treatment? Do you apply responsible care? But also, is what you produce sustainable throughout the life cycle of the products? And that is a game change in the policy beyond REACH, because REACH, if you studied your substances, if you classified them under CLP and GHS, for most of the substances, it meant that with the right risk management, you can still put these substances in products and trade the products. The novelty of the Green Deal is that, especially on chemicals, it will also answer the political question for some of these substances, if it's smart and sustainable to have them in products. And a new criterion will be put in the legislation, which is called safe and sustainable by design. Are the chemicals I have in my plastics helping or obstructing recycling? That is a question you will have to ask yourself at the beginning when you design the car. Are the chemicals that I've put in my materials leaching out over the life cycle? And what is their persistency over so many years? And it will not surprise you that one of the starting points of that debate is a very strong discussion right now around PFAS, fluorinated chemicals, in the US and in Europe. Now, that's part of a Green Deal policy package, which is bigger because it's an economic reform package for Europe. The European Commission actually not only formulated the Green Deal, as they call it, but then has used wisely the enormous amount of money that now is available in the recovery package around COVID and directs that into the Green Deal direction. So what you can expect in Europe is that the industry will get a lot of support to start using hydrogen as feedstock, as energy source. Billions of euros will be invested in the hydrogen economy coming from this recovery package from COVID. Secondly, there will be a strong push for chemical recycling, as after the Basel Convention, the thought that Europe needs to treat its own waste instead of exporting it to Southeast Asia or elsewhere leads to an enormous push for additional recycling capacity. And we're looking into new technologies like pyrolysis, gasification, solvolysis, that we need to then transfer our materials back into feedstocks for the chemical industry. You also see a push for electrification, as by 2050, by law, the European chemical industry lives in a climate neutral Europe, which in fact means that our industry already by the 2040s has to become climate neutral. And you see a mass movement of the industry towards electrons and renewable electricity as a new source to run the processes. Now, on renewable heat and low pressure heat, doable. On the real issues, can we develop a new electric cracker? Can we use electric furnaces? Can you really change the petrochemical sector? That's questions that will probably take a decade or so to develop. I wanted to introduce that to you because the package of transformation of the European chemical industry, much less dependence on the rest of the world as well in terms of fuels, means not only the change in our industry, but also a change in our markets. And the rules for chemicals in products coming to Europe, or the rules for chemicals being imported into Europe, will change, as there's clear legislation coming that with the change of rules, not only the European chemical industry will have to comply, but anyone putting the products on the markets will have to comply with the same rules. And in that sense, you can expect European standards to be set, rolled out as much as possible in the global markets, but also enforcement at our borders being increased. So summarizing, we would be very happy to share more with you on this Green Deal. It has strong political support in Europe. I think it's hopefully interesting for you in India today to get a first taste of it. But if I have to summarize it, it moves our industry from producing what we produce in a sustainable way to putting the question on the table, is what we produce sustainable in itself? And that safe and sustainable by design will require predictive toxicology, alternatives to animal testing, and a whole range of new technologies, which makes it one of the biggest opportunities, and I will finalize there. For us, it's 1927. If you remember the picture of Mr. Solvay with Marie Curie and Rutherford and Einstein, it's a famous picture in Europe. In the 1927 conferences, we believe we're at the same point where complete new companies and technologies will be developed, and those who jump on the opportunity will actually lead the industry of the future. So with that, I hope to set the scene a bit. We're going to make a tour de table of the global developments. And I have the honor to firstly introduce, and I hope I pronounce it well, Mr. Chaubet, who is a leading expert on sustainability, environmental water, wastewater treatment, a PhD in environmental engineering in the Indian Institute of Technology, 24 years of professional experience with all the major companies in the world. And what I liked in his CV, the unique position by adding sustainability and environmental footprints of big companies into the project he's done throughout his life. More than 100 environmental technologies that are successfully working, designed by this distinguished speaker. And as I was introduced, working for one of the true Indian multinationals, UBL. I should say, Dr. Chaubet, you're way ahead of me, being the most influential sustainability leader and receiving the CSO of the Year award. So I very much look forward to your presentation, and I'll come back with a question and answer afterwards. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you for introducing me. I am audible?
Yes.
Okay. So thanks to Indian Chemical Council for organizing this wonderful ICC Sustainability Conclave. I feel that this forum happens to be a peculiar. Last time also I attended. And I like this because on this forum, policymakers also get invited. So in morning session, we found that people from the ministry, policy making sides were there. And also the chemical manufacturer industries happens to be there. So it's very good forum. And I will take opportunity of this forum to request policymakers that we should try to frame the policy which can be practical, feasible, and also aligned with the international standards. And some of the example which I used to find when I interact with the industry and several people in the chemical industry, some of the policies, like one environment clearance policy related to notified industrial estate. I think that need to be relooked, because industrial estate already it is notified and EIA has been done. So again and again doing EIA for all the EC, there I think we can save the time and do the speedy process by putting all the industry from A to B2 category, like we have done for pharma last year. Second is on ZLD, we need to revisit. ZLD is not mandatory anywhere in the world, and especially those area, like we have several industry at Bharuch area, especially Ankleshwar, Jagadia. A very good CETP is there, very good deep sea discharge facility is there. So I think in those situations, we don't see that making ZLD mandatory will serve the process. A part of this, I think the third thing is the deep sea discharge standard. There also we need to align with the international standard, especially US EPA standard is there for the deep sea discharge. That may be a reference point, and we can align our deep sea discharge standard. So this is about the request to policymakers. And to industry, I want to request that yes, we should be very careful, and sustainability is for the profitability of business. And we must embed sustainability. While embedding sustainability in industrial operation, I think we should consider triple bottom line. Triple bottom line means we should include environmental dimension, we can include governance dimension, and also we can include social dimension. And I shall share you a case study at UPL, how we have embedded sustainability and how UPL has embedded triple bottom line in their sustainability strategy. A part of this, I think in operation, I feel that sustainability may be embedded in process, procurement, also in the operation and packaging and wastewater treatment. In all these areas, we need to embed the sustainability. Like if you see operation, there we need to embed such that we can reduce the environment footprint of operation. Environment footprint reduction means reduce the water consumption, reduce the specific CO2 emission, reduce the waste generation. And in procurement, we must have a sustainable procurement policy in place, and we must have target to procure sustainably. And in wastewater treatment and solid waste management, a lot of now good technologies are available, and we can embed and we can get a better result. So I think this is about the embedding sustainability inside operation. I think today the main challenge before chemical industry is this, that we need to align our sustainability strategy with the SDG and Paris Agreement on climate change, because that we need to fully aligned with SDG and Paris Agreement on climate change. And if we will not align our sustainability strategy with the SDG and Paris Agreement on climate change, then I think that cost of inaction will be higher than cost of action. And so we should revisit and relook. So let me share presentation. In this presentation, I shall share case study of UPL. Let me see. No. Is it coming? So presentation is coming?
Not as yet, no.
So someone can help sharing from there, because I want to share, but it's let me again try. The PowerPoint presentation is there. So if so, I think before it's coming on the screen, in my presentation, what I think now it's start coming. Just click it. Okay, fine. So now it is shareable. So it is coming on a screen. Hello?
It's coming, Mr. Chaubey, Dr. Chaubey.
Okay, fine. So I shall take few minutes to just take you through the case study on embedding the sustainability inside UPL. And I shall take you first slide. I shall share with my experience with sustainability, and then how we have embedded sustainability inside UPL, that I shall discuss, and then some of the recent successes I shall show in this presentation, and then we will see that what goals and target UPL has set up for the sustainability. So before going to detailed presentation, this is about the company UPL, which I am going to represent in this sustainability conclave. I am heading globally environment and sustainability of UPL. As you know, UPL is a world leader in organics, biological, and natural products for the farmers. We are the 5th largest agrochemical company of the world. We are also logo holder of Responsible Care and FTSE for Good. Recently, one of the premium sustainability rating agency from the Netherlands, Sustainalytics, has rated UPL number 1 on the sustainability among the agrochemical companies globally. Our presence is more than 130 countries. And at our sustainability strategy, one of the big things we have done is we have committed to reduce our 30% environment footprint by 2025. So first target we taken in 2016, and from 2016 to 2020, we have already achieved 30% reduction of our operation environment footprint. And now we have taken a new target that from 20 baseline, we will reduce the environment footprint in 25, 30%. This is the slide where I want to show my experience with sustainability. So first, between 2011 to 2016, I was sustainability in charge of Unilever. Unilever was a FMCG company. So there also we embedded sustainability, and we found that because of reduction of CO2 emission, energy bill reduction, water bill reduction, waste disposal reduction, nearly we saved $100 million saving we achieved. At UPL from 2016 to 20, I am looking and embedding the sustainability, and we are driving the sustainability where we are committed to reduce 30% environment footprint of our operation, and we did it between 2016 and 20. Now we have another more further target we have taken to reduce 30%. But in 2016-20, when we reduced the environment footprint 30%, then we found that it also result in saving of nearly 45 million US dollar energy bill, water bill, and the waste bill. So with this data, what I want to show that in the last 1 decade, what my experience with big multinational is that sustainability is for the profitability of business. Now this is the next slide where you can see that how we have embedded sustainability inside UPL, and you can see there are 5 things we did. And first we embedded triple bottom line approach in our sustainability strategy. And triple bottom line approach means we have considered environmental dimension, we have considered social dimension, and we have considered governance dimension in our sustainability strategy. And social dimension means more focused on HR, safety, and SDGs. So we have included triple bottom line first in our sustainability strategy. Then we have implemented very good policy and management system related to sustainability. So several sustainability policy we have implemented inside UPL, then sustainable procurement policy, human right policy, HSE policy, product stewardship policy, tax policy. So all these policy related to governance, social, and also environment we have framed because we believe that sustainability can drive from the top. So there should be a commitment, there should be drive from the top. Your policy and management system should be in place, your target should be in place, then only you can able to drive sustainability, and that we have done inside the UPL, and so why we resulted in very good result by embedding the sustainability. Third thing we incorporated that we have brought sustainability reporting in place. So from various years, I think more than 4 or 5 years, regularly we are publishing sustainability report as per GRI guidelines, and it is assured by the third party. And in sustainability report, we used to report everything, that what we have done in 1 year, what is our policy, what is our target, what is our achievement, what we have done. So we have kept everything in the public domain such that everyone able to know that what we are doing. And also we have conducted identification of our material issues, and those material issues has been identified, and that has been put in sustainability report, and every year we used to report that what action we are taking against each material issues which has been identified. Fourth things, we have certification. So one certification from responsible care. So we are very old member of ICC responsible care, and we are the logo holder, and we feel that the responsible care certification has helped us a lot because they have a very good standards in place, and ICC used to do the auditing of our operation. So responsible care helped a lot to UPL to improve the environmental and sustainability performance. Another certificate from the FTSE for Good. There also we are logo holder of FTSE for Good. And the fifth thing is we have got very good rating from the International Sustainability Rating Agency. So we used to participate in DJSI, FTSE Russell, and Sustainalytics. And Sustainalytics, which is from the Netherlands, they have rated us #1 in sustainability globally among agrochemical companies recently. DJSI has also rated us much more above industry average and year over year. FTSE Russell has also rated us much more above industry average, and they have also given us to use FTSE for Good logo. So I think this is the slide which give you a flavor that how we have embedded sustainability inside our operation. And UPL adopted a structured approach towards sustainability, and we firmly believe that sustainability is the best opportunity for business to drive a smarter innovation and profitable growth. Now, some of the success story I can share, but in the interest of time, I will not go through in detail. But here what we used to do, that we think that the technology play a very important role in embedding sustainability. And we have a green cell, and in green cell, a lot of engineers, researchers, biologists, technocrats are working day and night only to develop and implement a green sustainable technology inside UPL. And here you can find some of the technology which are new for the chemical industry, especially a Scalvan, Volute, FO technology. You will find first time we have implemented. And DAF MBBR is popular from many years, but there also we have modified in such a way that it can deliver better result for the agrochemical companies. Next recent success is this sustainable wastewater treatment scheme. This scheme, the peculiarity is this, that in chemical industry, whether it is agrochemical or any chemical industry, the main problem is that the effluent happens to be complex. Some of the stream we get very low TDS, some of moderate TDS and COD, and some of a stream are very difficult to treat. And unless until we segregate it, it is very difficult to achieve result and very difficult to treat the effluent. At UPL, we have adopted this principle that let first do the stream characterization, identification, and segregation. And at every our unit, we have done it, and we have differentiated the stream into green stream, yellow stream, and red stream. Green stream means TDS less than 5,000 ppm, which can be easily treatable by biological treatment process. Yellow stream, slightly difficult effluent, where the TDS is more than 5,000 but less than 10,000. COD is slightly higher, between 10,000 to 20,000. That we segregate as a yellow stream. And third, red stream, where very difficult effluent happens to be very high TDS, very high COD, and we segregate in 3 stream. We give appropriate treatment for all these 3 stream, and you can see in this treatment scheme that how we able to achieve the all recycling and reuse of effluent, and even 60% of our plant are zero liquid discharge plant. And by this way, we able to achieve very good result, and we able to manage the treatment of complex effluent inside agrochemical industry. So moving to the next, this is some of the sustainability performance at our manufacturing plant. So we able to reduce water which is sufficient to provide drinking water to 1.6 million people for 1 year. We have reduced CO2 emission in our operation, and that is equivalent to planting 35 million large tree to inhale CO2 in 1 year. We have also reduced waste going to landfill, and that is equivalent to nearly 9,000 full truckload. So a lot of work has been done to reduce the environment footprint inside our operation, and in monetary term, we have achieved the saving also out of this. And as beginning, I told you that nearly 45 million US dollar we able to save because of reduction of the water, CO2, and waste. So this is the sustainability performance of our operation. A part of this, we have a plan to use more and more renewable energy sources inside our operation. And at this moment of time, we have several green power purchase agreement, and 17% power in our largest 2 manufacturing plant comes from the renewable energy. We have a very good rainwater harvesting system in place inside our operation, where we used to collect the water and reuse inside the plant. And at this moment of time, globally, 60% of our operation is zero liquid discharge. Now coming to the SDG, at UPL, we believe that our sustainability strategy must be aligned with the Sustainable Development Goals, which is their 17 goal. We have prioritized the SDG. So for our operation, our business, we have identified 5 priority SDG, and on those SDGs we are working, and our all goal and targets are revolving. And those 5 SDGs you can see in this slide. First is second SDG, zero hunger. Third is good health and well-being. 7th SDG is affordable and clean energy. And SDG number 9, industrial innovation. And SDG number 12, responsible consumption and production. So these 5 SDGs we have identified as a priority SDGs for the UPL, and we are working on these SDGs. Now here you can see these 4 goals which we have set up for our UPL for 2025. And first goal is reduce environment footprint. Second, our goal is enhance world food security. Third is enhance sustainable sourcing. And fourth is strengthen community well-being. And against each goal, we have set a clear target, and the target has been divided year over year. But for 2025, what is ultimate target that you can see that we want to reduce 30% environment footprint inside our operation by 2025 from baseline 2019-20. So that is one target for the reduce environment footprint. To enhance world food security, our target is that we will achieve 40% revenue from innovative and sustainable solution. So some of the solution like organics, we came for the farmers, and also one innovative product, Jeva, we have brought. So Jeva helped farmer to reduce the water in crop water consumption, as well as Jeva enhance the yield of the crop. So like that, our aim is that 40% of our product should be a sustainable and innovative solution which will help the farmer to decrease the water, to decrease the energy, and to enhance the yield. Third, our aim is enhance sustainable sourcing. There we are making a very big drive on the sustainable procurement. So we have sustainable procurement policy in place, and we are also auditing our suppliers, and our aim is that at least 60% sourcing will be done from sustainable sources by 2025. And in strengthen community and well-being, we want to impact 3 million lives through livelihood, education, health, and sanitation. So on a strengthen community well-being, a lot of work has been done, but I think in interest of time, I shall move, otherwise it will be more time. So I think the conclusion of my presentation is this, that sustainability is for the profitability of business. Sustainability is for 100% meeting the compliances inside operation. Sustainability is for the smarter innovation, and sustainability is for the environment protection. So I think we can say that sustainability is for the profit, sustainability is for the people, and sustainability is for the planet. So I think with this note, I shall end my presentation, and then question answer, I think we will take later on, or I don't know later on or this. I seek the permission from the chair. Whatever the advice is, that we will follow.
Thank you very much. I will indeed take the questions after the next presentation. I see our third speaker is not joining, so I propose we, and thank you for a very impressive presentation, let me say that already, that we introduce Lasse Benny, who is working at Currenta as an environmental engineer, working on landfilling recycling in the chemical industries, graduated from the Technical University Clausthal, and will look with us at recycling techniques. And when we've had the two presentations, we then bring it together into a central Q&A. So Lasse, I think the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. I have to get my presentation started at first here. One moment. So I hope everyone can see my presentation right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it is visible.
So thank you, Mr. Mising, for the invitation at first that I can speak here today, and the nice introduction. My name is Lasse Benny. I'm very happy to be here virtually today out of my home office in Cologne, you see, right behind me in Germany. And give you a short overview how we handle things here at Currenta in Germany, referring to the theme sustainable waste management and chemical industries. So let's don't waste time and go on. So the company I'm working for, Currenta, we're the operator of 3 chemical parks with more than 70 companies, different companies out of the chemical production, research, services. Our main target, of course, as the operator, is to let our customers concentrate on their main business. As Currenta, with sales over 1,700 million euros a year and about 5,300 employees, we handle the site services like water pumping and treatment, building roads, railways, pipelines, electricity grids. We do utility supply and disposal like electricity, steam, refrigeration. We have landfill sites, do recycling, and the disposal of waste. And our third stage is the services, which includes analytics for our customers, training, logistics, maintenance, everything in our 3 of the chem parks. One moment. Right. Where is it? Yeah. Right here you can see the 3 locations of our sites, one in Leverkusen, one in Dormagen, and the third site, probably the hardest to pronounce for not Germans, in Krefeld-Uerdingen. In total, the 3 sites have a total area of more than 1,000 hectares, and all of them are situated on a big river called Rhine in North Rhine-Westphalia, Western Germany, as you can see. Okay. But now let's get in to our main topic today, and the question how we can contain sustainability for the chemical plants in our parks. Reach circular economy and protect the environment around us. The circle you can see here shows the basic principle of the circular economy. In Germany, the shown principle is also anchored in a German law, which is called the Circular Economy Law. So in circular economy, we have to think about eco-design first. Before producing goods to avoid as much waste as possible, first thing we build on here is the waste prevention, the first stage of the circular economy law. Now we're having a nice eco-design, start to produce the goods, distribute it, and bring it to the consumers. After the goods are used and there is no chance to reuse or repair the goods, which is the second stage of the circular economy law, waste is generated by our customers, and the work for Currenta, the orange-colored fields in the park starts. In the park, a big part of the waste, of course, is contaminated and hazardous waste. Caring about this kind of waste is our specialty. On the one hand, our goal here is, of course, to recycle or recover as much of the waste as possible. That's the third and fourth stage of the circular economy law. And on the other hand, to exclude the hazardous ingredients in the waste to protect environment. In the chem park, the waste gets separately collected and sorted, if possible, recycled or recovered in one of our plants. Later, the recycled materials can be used in the production process again, of course, as raw materials. All the, let's call it hazardous leftovers, which you can see on the left side, right here, yeah, are safe treated and excluded from environment in one of our plants, which is our main business. So that's the fifth stage and last stage of the circular economy law. As Currenta, we dispose more than 1 million tons of waste a year. 20% of the waste is recovered. Each waste stream that's more than 5,000 is characterized physically and chemically. And every waste movement, more than 100,000 a year in the chem parks, is tracked and documented in our IT waste system called ELIAS. For that reason, we reach high transparency for all of our waste processes and are able to overlook every waste stream as a base to promote circular economy and keep the whole circle cycle clean. To keep this process running, we have our central waste management department at Currenta, which is the connection between our customers and our recycling or disposal plans. The experts in the central waste management are responsible for the whole documentation and characterization process I explained before. The waste management also controls the observance of all the waste and environmental laws and compliance rules in the chem park for our customers. Beside our own plants, we build on an external waste network with recycling and disposal partners outside of the chem park that allows us to find the right treatment for every single waste stream we have. Also, we guarantee in front of our customers that all the waste streams will absolutely be disposed with the principle of recycling first, and always looking for new innovative ways to push the circular economy in the chem park. Now I want to show you a typical the typical way of the waste streams in the chem park. Like I told you before, the waste management is the connection between customers and our plants. Our customers here in the chem park contact us and ask for caring about different waste streams. Right here we have three typical waste streams: exhaust air, the gray colored, different types of solid and liquid waste, the brown colored, and of course contaminated wastewater, blue colored. So let's start with the brown waste stream. At first, we do have different recycling centers in the chem park where we mainly collect, sort, and recycle metal scrap. If needed, we also contact our recycling partners for optional ways to recycle, with the target, of course, to sell the valued fractions on the open market. Contaminated solid and liquid waste streams are given into our one of our incineration plants. The decontaminated ashes are brought to the landfill site near to the incineration, where in the incineration we use the resulting heat to supply our customers in the chem park with steam and energy. The percolating water from the sealed landfill site gets collected in drainage and is directed together with the sewage water from our customers to the water treatment plant, where the water is cleared and can be reused by our customers again. The sewage sludge of the water treatment is burned again in the incineration. The exhaust air out of the chem park and our own plants is cleaned in our exhaust air combustion. So a perfect example of the shown system is our disposal center in Leverkusen. The whole disposal center is specialized to decontaminate and exclude hazardous waste from the environment. Right here, we do have an incineration. Right here, the water treatment and landfill site right next to each other and in the immediate vicinity of the chem park you see in the north here. The incineration, which includes two rotary kilns and an afterburning chamber, produces ash, which is brought to the landfill site. The percolating water, like I showed you, is directed in drainage under earth in the water treatment plant. The direct proximity of the plants to one another makes the transport ways very short, and we can use synergies to increase, of course, the profitability of the system. Beside disposal, we always try to find new recycling ways for our waste streams. Like I said, recycling first for our customers. A perfect example for that is our cable recycling plant in one of our recycling centers. The plant crushes and separates copper and the plastic coatings, and in the following, the copper is granulated and sold for our customers. There are way more examples I could give you in this context and what we do or develop here at Corinta. Maybe like the recycling of lithium-ion batteries, which will be a main waste stream in the future, or themes like landfill mining for our landfill sites. Yeah. So as a conclusion, the key for us in the chem park is to have all our customers centralized in the chem park. That enables the use of synergies for more sustainability and profitability, like I presented you in the disposal center in Leverkusen. Also, the high effort we put into documentation to create a basis for a high level of transparency allows us to control every waste movement in the chem park. Thereby, we can guarantee that substances of abuse won't damage the environment. Of course, in the future, new recycling technologies have to be developed. In my opinion, in Germany, the government plays a big role here by bringing in new laws to push, regulate, and promote the chemical industry in direction of recycling. Like I told you about the circular economy law in Germany. Only like that we can reach a constant high level of development. Yeah, so that's already the end of my presentation. When I look at my watch, my 10 minutes are over. Thank you for your attention, and I'm looking forward for your questions later. If you want more information about Corinta, please feel free to contact me right here. Think, Mr. Missing, I think it's your turn again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lasse. Interesting presentation. Indeed, I think that we have about half an hour. We'll see if we use that time for a number of questions also to Dr. Schobe. But maybe I can still start with you. One of the issues we're looking at is in new waste flows is the amount of windmill blades that will become available, which so far only go to the cement sector. So with a large increase in renewable energy, we'll have a large pile of solar panels and windmills. Is your company already looking into recycling that?
Yeah, we already, I'm not an expert in that, but we already had a few years ago a new recycling plant for that, and was in development, and we're of course caring about this team because it's will be in the future main waste stream for us, and yeah, it's we do already have kind of development there and trying to start a business out of it. Yeah, so we're in development, like I said. Yeah.
We will run a project with the European Commission called Making Renewables Circular, and for our Indian colleagues, just the first generation of windmills in Europe will make that 75,000 windmill blades need to be recycled in the coming year, for which no one so far has any other use than cement. You grind them up and you put them in a cement kiln, where we see the opportunity of both designing new materials for the light need, using the stream in a more positive way. So that's good news. If I can turn back to Dr. Schobe, you seem to be very far advanced, also compared to the European companies in your approach of sustainability and SDGs. My question is, and it's a curiosity question on my own side, are you able to bring the other agricultural chemical companies in India along on this path, or how do you see that you can share your experience, please?
So here I have shared our experience with UPL, but related to SDG, we are working closely with WBCSD, World Business Council for Sustainable Development, and UPL is a leading member in WBCSD. And there we are working along with the other companies to achieve the SDGs, and several projects, several events, several work they are organizing in India as well as abroad, and globally we are participating in WBCSD.
Thank you very much, Dr. Schobe. Maybe I can turn back to Dr. Schobe. You seem to be very far advanced, also compared to the European companies in your approach of sustainability and SDGs. Thank you for that reply. That's very useful. If you look at the state of play for maybe both of you, what would be the one action you would advise the people who are watching to take in 2021? We're still in January. I can still wish you Happy New Year in Europe, and ask for your good intentions, which we all imagine. If you look at the sustainability field for the chemical industry, would there be a specific action you see Currenta or the German industry take as a next target? And maybe afterwards I come to you, back to you, Dr. Chowi, as well. Lasse, maybe you first. What's the next project or the big project for 21?
I think, like I showed you on the circular economy in Germany, like I presented, I think the first step as a chemical industry, you have to think about the eco design. So how can stay in contact already by producing the goods? When you start to think about producing goods, you already need to connect with the recycling companies and think about eco design. I think that's the first connection we have to build on, because in the end it makes for recycling makes it a lot easier when the producers and the recyclers are already in contact, and the recyclers tell the producers or try to tell them what are good fragments in your product, which makes us the recycling easier. And of course, we're speaking about chemical recycling. That will be a big part too in the future, like the pyrolysis and gasification of plastics. That will play a big role in the next years. Yeah, that's
perfect. Thank you, Dr. Chowi. What's your big good wish project for 2021, if I can ask it that way?
So we are focused on SDG 12, responsible consumption and production. And there, one focus we have already given on the environment footprint reduction, but now we want to give more focus in coming days on sustainable procurement and plastic packaging. We want that the plastic used in the packaging need to reduce, and also we can able to collect the plastic and recycle it. So in that direction already UPL have made a arrangement, CPCB certificate at least 5,000 ton plastic need to be collected and recycled. So on that project already we are working. So I feel that sustainable procurement, plastic recycling, and environment footprint reduction of operation, that will be a major drive in coming days.
Perfect, thank you. If I can build on that question, we got a wonderful letter from the Indian Prime Minister for this conference. If you would write a letter back saying, thank you for your letter, can you do the following 3 things for me in the coming year? What would you write him?
So I have mentioned you 3 things. What is our priority? A part of this, we have set up 4 goals for the UPL. So that 4 goal we will like to work, and we will like to communicate to our Prime Minister that reduction in environment footprint, we are working on food security and sustainable procurement and well-being to community. So on these 4 goals, UPL want to work, and we want to communicate to our Prime Minister that they will continue to work on this goal.
You're a modest man, because in my culture, a Dutchman would ask for money, 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 and money to get support for innovation, I will tell you. But maybe Lasse, for you as well, pinching you a bit. There's elections in Germany coming. You're going to lose Mrs. Merkel as Bundeskanzler. You'll have a green-black government or a black-green government in the future. besides money, 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 what would you ask your next head of government after the elections if you were the boss of your company?
If I'm the boss, yeah, like already told you, with the responsibility for when we look at the eco design, the product stewardship producer is having. When he produces a good, I think that has to be a main target here to make recycling way easier later. Like when you're talking about producers have to take back their plastic waste and have to care about, like we do have already different systems like that in Germany, that they're really responsible for their products and the way it gets recycled in the end. I think this kind of product stewardship has to be really intense, and that's what I hope is of a new government is doing that. Hopefully, green government. Yeah.
I will send your answer to Mr. Laschet, not the green, but maybe the black guy in charge of the Greens next year. But,
yeah.
that could be. One thing we're looking at, and I'm looking also at your book on wastewater treatment technologies, is we found to our surprise that where we're really good in treating wastewater in Europe, and of course we have the increasing problem of microplastics in the environment. Quite a lot of the sludge from the wastewater is then reused on agricultural soils, either as anti-dust or as fertilizer. And in a strange way, we first filter out the microplastics, then we put it back on land and it drains back into the rivers. A question to you as a specialist also on wastewater treatment, Dr. Chaube, is microplastics already a big issue in India? Is it coming?
So I don't feel microplastic is the major issue in India because here one thing is there that in our culture segregation and recycling is embedded, and earlier people used to see as a cost, means they used to get a cost out of it. So I think this is a not major issue in India, microplastic. But yes, the floating plastic, larger plastic bag and polythene, which is going inside the river and sea, that is a major issue, and there we are addressing.
I've seen some of the project also on the Ganges River. Is there progress, and indeed will chemical recycling also play a role in the handling of the plastic?
Yes, recycling will play a bigger role.
Perfect, thank you. Maybe, and I'm looking at the host of the host in this case as well on additional questions. On the international cooperation, Lasse, you're a German-based company. Are you in touch also with Indian companies, with other people around the world managing their parks? Is there a cooperation that we can all benefit from?
Yeah, we are always, as Currenta, we do have a lot of experience in disposal of hazardous waste, and we do always have people around the world to show and exchange what we are doing or what they are doing. So we're always open to that, and like to have we're willing to have new partnerships in the future, of course, and find a way always to exchange. And I think that's what I said in the end of my presentation as well. Like when you do have any questions, or I can reach out for anyone in our company, tell me. We're always willing to exchange our knowledge and get to know other companies too. Yeah.
Perfect. It's the reason I ask is that because in the International Council, we work with Ravi Kapoor and the colleagues, but many others around the globe. We also see the developments in China going very fast, also in environmental technologies, which really makes that we think we can learn from developments around the world. So we're always very interested. One of the projects that's happening in Europe right now is that we see how we can use the waste gases from a steel plant as feedstock, and that's carbon monoxide, not carbon dioxide, but as carbon monoxide as a feedstock into a chemical plant, which seems to be very doable. Talking to the Chinese in a Chinese CEO roundtable last year, I found out that in China, one of the conglomerate owns both a steel and a chemical plant, and is actually already doing it in practice. So you'll find solutions around the world where you might not always expect them, which is really interesting. And maybe a cheeky question to you, Dr. Chobe. What will your next book be about?
Next.
Finish this one. So what's the next one? And it's not your memoirs, because I think you're going to write a lot of more books before you will write your memoirs.
So next book you are asking?
Yes.
So I think this is the, right now you can see background. Ville publisher has published recently on wastewater treatment. Next is on sustainability. So it is on way. But how to embed sustainability in big corporates, that will be the next book.
Perfect. What I would like to put on your table is the question we are doing in Europe, and then I'll come slowly to the end as well. That where we are now being asked to develop our thoughts on safe and sustainable by design, on the concept of chemicals for essential use, you always, at the end of the debate, end in a trade-off, because we'll be looking for the chemicals where the production actually uses much less energy, emits less CO2, is having almost no emissions, is very safe to use, but still allow us to build the new technologies and materials for the future. It's quite a puzzle. What we are exploring is indeed the definition. And recyclability, to what Lasse said, is one of the aspects. But also we have this puzzle that if we want goods not to be persistent in the environment, but we want them to be very durable and reusable, there is a circle to square. And the same is that if you want everything biodegradable, and that debate now also comes up on bioplastics, you might not have the goods hard enough for some applications. So I think the next challenge of the sustainability debate, and that's the one we're taking in Europe, is how to square the circle, or as we say in Dutch, how to find the sheep with 5 legs, the one that has all the solutions, which means we have to find a few of the holy grails also in chemistry. There's a bit of hope, because with the COVID vaccine, we have seen how fast developments can go if all the money is being put on one development. And that's what you'll now, for example, see with the hydrogen economy in Europe. If you add it all up, Europe will spend about 30 billion in hydrogen support in the next 3 years, which means that we are at the same point where we had solar panels 20 years ago. Industry said this is far too expensive. And 20 years later, you show that 17% of your power comes from renewables on site. We're now at the point where hydrogen is still expensive, but very soon will be kicked into a next cycle with much lower costs. So very interesting sustainability challenges to come. That means I wish you good luck with writing the book. And if you want to reach out into Cefic to share some of your knowledge, we'll have our sustainability team ready to meet up with you. And maybe also, Lasse, thank you very much for your contributions from a Cologne room. We know where you are. We've been out of the office since March as well. And my team, it's a new thing. My team really wants to go to the office, and my kids really want to go to school. The world is sometimes changing fast. But having said that, I'd like to give it back to the host. Thank you very much for 2 very valuable presentations. Thank you for the opportunity to meet you between Brussels, Cologne, and India, and give it back to Mr. Comares to finalize the session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mensing. It was indeed a wonderful session with so much of knowledge sharing from Dr. Chobe and Lasse, and from your side in terms of the Green Deal. But I still have a question for you. My question to you is that you mentioned about the Green Deal. So So is it something like a reach plus? Now, most of the European companies and even international companies had to prepare for years to become reach ready or reach compliant. Will it be something like that of a challenge for European companies and others to meet the expectations from the Green Deal? How do you see that?
So it's building on reach, but impact-wise, it will be bigger. And what I mean by that is that the fundamental of reach is that we now have the data set of all the chemicals in Europe. That was a massive investment by the companies, that we are assessing the different substances one by one. And what you see in our policymakers is that they feel that is not going fast enough, and we need to accelerate the development. That means that in the package now coming, it's not only about reach or new categories for endocrine disruptors or persistent chemicals in CLP, our GHS system. It's also about taking decisions on the use of these chemicals in what we call downstream user legislation, cosmetics, detergents, soaps, plastics, automotive, etc., etc. And doing so in what is called a generic risk assessment, which comes quite close to a hazard-based banning of chemistries, group by group. So what we're currently doing with the industry is looking in the portfolio of all the companies in what we expect of sales to be impacted. But it will be huge. A number of chemistries will be phased out in Europe much faster than you would think. The underlying challenge is, and this is where the goals of the exercise, I don't think we disagree. We all have a challenge with persistency in the environment. You need long-term data series, and in many cases over time, when you get more science, you find out more of the positive, but also of the negative aspects of certain chemistries. But having to answer the question, what happens when 50 years of small releases in the environment have done, it's a big challenge for the industry to answer those questions in a scientific way. So I think the answer is the change in legislation is not as big as when REACH came. The impact of the change is bigger than REACH because it asks very fundamental questions on which chemicals do you use when you design certain products. If you cut it up in 3 categories, we're going to see 4 maybe reduction targets for the use of pesticides and fertilizer in agriculture. Politicians want to halve the use. You will see the agricultural policy reform in general. You'll see that certain chemicals and substances where there's alternatives will simply be banned. For some, we're going to need European standards because the alternatives are there, but they might be more expensive and therefore they're not being sold. And for some, we will start up to 5 large-scale innovation projects. One of them we call chemicals with wings. What is the next generation of materials you need in airplanes? And what is the next generation of chemicals you need for those materials in airplanes? You can ask the same of the next generation of automobility. What is the car battery without cobalt? What's the solid state battery? What chemistries do you need? And can we define no regret chemistries which are safe and sustainable and recyclable from the start when we move into these next generations of products? And that is a massive effort. It's a 10-year long process. That's why I mentioned 1927. We'll have to redesign quite a share of the European and I think global chemical industry to the benefit of all of us. But as every change, there will be some pain, there will be mourning, there will be impact, there will be opportunity, which in the end, people have asked me, NGOs always say industry never changes. And my answer is industry changes every day. That's called competition. That's where we are the best. And the reason we innovate is actually to beat the competitor, much more than anything else. We like to take the market. We believe that innovation, if we're given sufficient time, can overcome these challenges. but we'll have to work together in new ways. Companies, for example, to develop an electric cracker, companies will have to work together. It's not something a single company can do on its own. So the same with chemical recycling, getting those technologies up and running in the next 2-3 years will mean a lot of cooperation between the industry. So long answer, some optimism, huge impact, don't underestimate it. Impacts on the chemistries as we know it. And if you allow me one slide with my hand, you always have a curve where you get fast growth and it stabilizes. Then you jump to a next curve where exactly at the point where the two curves meet. Everything we've done today will have to be climate neutral by 2050. None of the machines we know today is useful by 2050. Some of the chemistries we have today make our money will be new or renewed in 2050, but we have to make the money with the existing products to jump to the next generation of chemical industry. And in that sense, there's a few years, it's not only 1927, it's also 1973, the global oil crisis, where I'd like to leave you with an anecdote. I have 3 kids, but I've told them I was the first generation of people to play with Playmobil, with the little plastic dolls. So my Playmobil had little orange caps and my knights had silver shiny armor. Now it's much more sophisticated. Playmobil has a museum in the south of Germany. You should go with your children, because every fire brigade ever made by Playmobil is in a museum and you can play with it. But the reason they were developed was that because of the oil crisis, the big plastic toys were too expensive. And there was one inventor who said, maybe we should sell little small men. Everyone said, no, that's wrong. Now there's more Playmobil than people on the planet. And every year, the Playmobil dolls grow faster than humanity. I'm an optimist and I'm a believer. We're going to be doing amazing things like artificial photosynthesis, but it will be very disruptive. So if you ever would want to work in this industry, this is the moment. I hope that answers your question.
It answers the question, and it's a great closing statement from your side. It's very sort of visionary, it's challenging, and it's an indicator of changes to come. And I hope CEFIC, the way it helped the industry through Reach Ready, I hope you'll be able to help the industry with Green Ready. So thank you, Mr. Mensing, for conducting this fantastic session, a great chair. And thank you, Dr. Chaubey, for a very insightful presentation and the things that, as I always say, that this is the true Indian global company, which also has a unit in Rotterdam. And thank you, Lasse, for a fantastic presentation of Currenta, which offers how a chemical park should be managed. And just to share that we have chemical parks, we are trying to build up PCPIRs, and that's the kind of thing that we are trying to say, that how can we model the management of PCPIRs along that. So thank you very much.